the tone for our program, I want to lay out our adoption framework. This is how we like to think about running an adoption program and some stages to help you sort of rationalize this. So first off, we start by trying to define our objective. So we know that leadership has passed down some sort of mandate, and we need to figure out how to make the most of that, pull out the objectives and the business outcomes, and turn that into some kind of programming that we're going to roll out for the field organization. To do that, we have to know what success and what good is going to look like. And so we have to figure out how to set some measurement along with that. Then as we begin to figure out what our measurement is and what our objectives are, we begin to craft what we call the program. And this is where we're structuring out each initiative into a managed program, something that we can identify for the audience, the timeline, the stages, the tasks, and the mini projects that go into basically trying to drive home something like a Salesforce implementation or a product launch. Once we have that program outlined, it's really a matter of redefining the scope of work. So we need to know exactly what the set of tasks are, who's going to do what, when we're going to do them, what the expectations are at each stage, and provide sort of a roadmap for how we're going to execute this program. Now, once we get that scope of work, it actually comes to the nitty-gritty side of actually documenting the processes. When we're trying to do something like drive adoption of Salesforce inside of our Seismic, we need to actually document those processes, create the training guides, create the resources and the references and the learning paths to actually make sure that this subject matter expertise is passed down and delivered to that audience. And then that audience is actually going to receive that through what we call our deployment strategy. How we're going to roll out this documentation to them, where we're going to position to it, how we're going to position them. Sometimes it's going to be in initial onboarding guides. Other times it's going to be dripped out during the flow of work. And we need to think through all of the different stages of a learner journey to make sure the right pieces of content are finding them at the right time. And that's what we think is a good adoption framework. It takes it from a random, sort of mandate from leadership into something that can be maybe passed down into a real programmatic rollout of something we can drive outcomes for and make sure we find success.